Most beginners move forward, but forward only gets you hit. Today, we incorporate sideways, go to the side, and angles, right? One lesson: step, strike, retreat. All of that towards our survival. Let's get started. So, we're going to review what we went over last week. We'll start with the opening. Bring your hands to your chest and open up, slightly pigeon toed. Now we step into our forward fighting stance. Remember the heel toe alignment, right? Now let's just review a few things we did the last class. Now, the last time we worked on the Wing Chun footwork, but this came after we did our triangle step, right? The very linear forward and back. But you can also incorporate angles into the triangle footwork as well, right? You can use that to close up any openings and move. Following that, we went into the Wing Chun footwork. Now, the Wing Chun footwork again can be very linear. I'll show you from the side again. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe on the retreat. Toe, slide the front foot back to its original position. Back, back, switch. Forward, forward, back, back, back. Now, today's lesson is how do we incorporate angles, right? Because you don't want to run into a punch. You want to be able to sidestep, attack, and retreat. Okay, so I'm going to give you a series of 4 exercises you can do to work on angles, sidestepping for your safety and survival. So we'll start out, and you can see this line here. We'll pretend that's our line of attack, and I'll show you from a different direction what that sidesteps look like. Now, what you also notice is that where the line intersect, we'll just pretend that's where the person's foot or leg is, the forward leg. And we want to get around that to change the angle. So the first thing we like to start out with is the regular side step. So we'll start from the beginning, open up, step forward. Now we're going to do the first side step. And we'll do this without the hand. Don't worry about the hands so much. We'll just work on the feet for now. We'll incorporate the hands later. So you take one step to the side, one. You see there's a clear line of attack. You clear that. Triangle step in and step across the line again. And then you go back to your original position, right? Now you're going to go at an angle 45 degrees to the other side. It's almost like you're running, but it's essentially a narrow step, which means that 80% of the weight is going to be on the front leg. You bring the back leg in and you step in again to another arrow step, right? 80% here. Then you reverse the position and then you go to that side a second time here. Triangle step in, step across the line of attack, come back, and then go back, retreat back to your original position. Then for the final sequence, you step to the other side again, arrow step, come in, arrow step across the line, come back, and retreat back to your position, right? And you'll notice that when you retreat, you want to make sure you retreat back further um, because when you go out to the side, you're actually stepping out. You're almost launching yourself and jumping to the side. So you need to make sure that when you come back, after you do your arrow step across the line, you come back, make sure you go back further. Otherwise, you're going to still end up within range. So the idea behind that is once you attack and you retreat, you want to make sure you retreat back, you know, out of range. Okay. So that's the first one. So we'll do that about 3 rounds. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you the attack part, the attack and defense. So you're going to put your hands in a fighting position. I'll show you what that looks like close up. You have a Tansao or Wusao position. Your hand, this hand comes by the elbow here. When you go to the side, you step to the side, the hand comes and guards the face, and this hand is parrying down. Got it? So again, I'll do it again. Now, if I did that on the line, this is what it looks like. Or so I have my heel toe alignment here. I'm going to step to the side, and you see I have most of my weight on this leg here. Step in. Now I'm going to step across. When I step across, I'm going to switch. I'm going to have a tensile, and this hand is also going to be by the elbow. When I go back, I'm going to retreat. As I retreat, I'm going to clear and then go back to my original position. That's a lot of detail, but let me show you up close what that looks like. So I'm standing on the line here. You go 1, triangle step, tensile, triangle step, retreat, right? So you advance, attack, retreat, advance, attack, and retreat, okay? Now you might be asking, how can a tensile be a retreat? Well, a tensile um, is can also be used as a weapon as well. Finger jabs, eye gouges. So we'll just leave it there for now, but I wanted you to know the hand positioning. However, let's just focus on the footwork first, because once we get the foundation down, then the hands, we can change the weapons for the hands later, because you have punches, you have kicks. But for now, let's start with doing just the basic footwork. So I'm going to do it without the hands because I think that might be too much for beginners. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right. Make sure you come back. You have 80% of your weight on that back leg. Now you're ready to go back to the left side again. Okay. Now that's very different than moving linear, right? Where you're moving right at your opponent. This allows you to completely sidestep the opponent and then move back in for an attack. Now, a couple pointers on the footwork. When we start from our basic fighting stance, here, when you sidestep, I'm going to remove my hands again from this. You want to completely leave a path. If they're coming in, striking or kicking, you want to go to the side with that arrow step. You come in and then go back. Now, what I see some students do is they just step back, right? Basically, if you step back, you leave everything open here and you're back in the line of attack. So you want to make sure you go side, triangle step, attack, retreat with your triangle step, right? Go to the other side. Always triangle step back. I can't tell you how many times students forget this. Once they start getting a little bit more advanced techniques, they forget the fundamentals, but this is so important because eventually what it looks like is it is not so um, it has a nice flow to it. So when you start using it as footwork, it really becomes it allows you to again get in, get out, attack, retreat, advance, attack, retreat, advance, attack, retreat. But the way you're approaching it is you're advancing at an angle, you're attacking at an angle. Okay. Now, for the next step, we will go ahead and show you the various forms of attacks that you can use. The first one I showed you was the tonsile. So again, I'll show you the hand position of the tonsile. Looks like this. The next thing we're going to do is the punch, and then we'll add the low kick, and then we'll add sweeps. Now, we'll focus on each one of those um, weapons in more detail later on, but just so you get an idea of how to do the footwork with hands. So you're going to go to the side. This hand is protecting the upper gates, lower gates, triangle step. Now I'm going, as I step in, I'm on the tonsile, right? As I step back, watch my hands. I'm going to switch the hands because I need one hand guarding the upper as I clear the lower gates and come back. And it's all one motion. Tonsile, retreat, you see? Now I'll show you in 4 counts. No, I'll tell you what, I'll show you in 12 counts. And then we'll go to 4 counts, and then we'll do 1 count. So here, we'll just do the footwork first. Okay, so this is the 12 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now I'll add the tonsile with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now if we do 4 count, you'll see how we smooth out the flow. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? Now, now if we do 1 count, 1, and it becomes one motion, basically. Okay? Now, let's change the weapon. So suppose we want to throw a punch instead of a tonsile. So we go from our fighting position, 80% of the weight on the back leg. We got our wusao position, our basic position here. We go 1. Now this is the 1-inch punch. You're going to load up here. You step in, you punch, arrow step. You step back. You go to the other side. You load up, strike, and then you retreat. Advance, strike, and retreat. Advance at an angle, strike, and retreat. A couple of pointers on that if you're going to incorporate the hands. When we do the punches, we don't pull back to before we punch, right? So let me show you in 4 counts or 12 counts how that works. Now watch, I keep my hand in position, and as I go in, that's when I add the 1-inch blast, right? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, let's see if we can show you a little bit closer here. So you can watch, I have my feet lined up, uh, heel toe on the line. So you step to the side, watch my hands here. So I don't move my elbow. I just go in here. I still have my center line protected. Strike, hit, hit. And see my hands? I don't let them drop. I still clear. So I advance, strike, retreat. Advance, strike, retreat. Advance, strike, retreat, advance, strike, and retreat. Now, from this angle, I'll show you again. We'll do this one in a 4 count for the punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was actually 12 counts. My bad. Okay, let's do 4 counts. So at least you know the footwork pattern. Okay, for 4 counts, it's just one motion. 2, 3, 4. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice when I come back, I got my weight back here, so even when I come back, I can throw a quick kick and go to the side. Okay. Now that's the punch. Now we have what's called the low kick. So again, we're not going to just throw a kick straight up the middle. We're going to go to an angle that allows us to go on the outside of the person. The kick will start with the 12 count. 1, 2, crane stance. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. And then, of course, with that one, I'll do it from this angle. We have the 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. And normally, what you're going for at that point is the kneecap, the side of the knee or the front of the knee. Right. So I'll show you again from this angle one more time. I'll slow it down. Arrow step, crane stance, kick, the knee, crane stance, and back. So instead of an arrow stance, you're still coming in, but you're using a crane stance instead. So go to this side, hit. Now, for a kick like the kneecap doesn't take a lot of pounds to break someone's kneecap. So you don't have to do a big pivot. I see some students, I think it's a waste of motion. They go in, they pivot, and they come back, and they pivot, and they come. I mean, you can do that if you can get back as quick as you can by just taking the knee out. You can do a slight pivot if you want, or basically you have the advantage being at an angle by just kicking the knee out in that way. Okay. The last weapon is the sweep. Now that one's a little trickier because you have to change sides, but I'll show you from several angles. So we'll start from the 12 count. We go 1, side step, advance. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me reset again. We're doing the sweep. Okay, so here's your line of attack. You side step, pivot, the front foot first, sweep across the line of attack. Now you got to pivot that foot and do a back sweep. Now you're back on the line again. You step across like you do when you're facing the other way. Pivot the front leg that you have the weight on. Sweep. Now you shift the weight as you pivot and then sweep the leg back around and you're back to your fighting stance on the opposite side. Now you got to go and do it the other way. So you go here, pivot, sweep, pivot, sweep, step to the side, arrow step again on the balls of your feet, pivot, sweep, pivot, sweep. Now, this one I would recommend doing without the hands until you get the footwork right. So let me do it again for 12 counts. And don't worry too much about the hands, but if you want, you can follow what I do. So you got one, pivot, sweep, pivot, sweep. Now you're facing the opposite direction. Now you side step at another angle, pivot, sweep, pivot, and sweep. Advance at an angle, pivot, sweep, pivot, sweep. Now you're going to side step again at another angle off the line of attack, pivot, sweep, pivot, and sweep. Now, for one count, well, let me do it this way so you can see it again. So you got one, arrow step, advance, sweep, pivot, sweep. Now we're going to side step, pivot, sweep, pivot, sweep. Now we got to go back the other way. Arrow step, advance, attack, attack, and retreat. And when you on the other side, side step, advance, pivot, advance, pivot, advance, and retreat. Okay. Now, as one complete motion, it's going to look like. So you here, make sure you be mindful where your weight is, because you never know when you come back and you have to throw a kick before you size or sweep, right? You got to keep that weight back there because you don't want to get swept, right? If your weight's too far forward, when you're facing your opponent, they push you in a vulnerable position if they sweep the leg. Okay. Now it's different if you get off the line and you're in the safe zone here. Now you can sweep, sweep, yep, sweep, 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 sweep. Now that's the basic sweep. Now you can go lower with the sweep doing front and back sweeps, but we'll save that for a more advanced class once you practice this. Now let's just review. Let's start with the footwork and we'll do 12 counts without the hands. Then I'll do with the tongue style. Then we'll do it the punch, then the kick, and then we'll do the sweep. So again, if that's the knee where the lines intersect, and this is the line of attack, it might help if you draw the lines so you know where your target is. If you have a partner, that makes it even better. But this is for those who maybe they don't have a partner with them at the time, but we'll show you how to work with a partner in that respect. Okay, so for right now, for those who only have their home space and their themselves to train with for now, here we go. So no hands. I just put my hands behind my back. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Advance, attack, retreat. Advance to the other side again, attack, and retreat. And we go to the other side, attack, retreat. Now, how far do you step out? Well, that depends. You definitely want to be safe. So you want to make sure you step off the line of attack. Okay, so the second one, tensile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now we do, got some mosquitoes out here. Now we do the punch. The punch I'll show you from this angle. I think it would be better. Okay, so the punch, 1, I'm going to do this slow. I'm going to load up here and so step in. 2, and then we'll come back. Retreat. So advance, strike, retreat. Advance again, strike, and retreat. Advance, strike, and retreat. Keep that hand up. You throw a punch, you better be protecting your upper gates, because something always is left open, but much as possible, you want to make it very difficult for your opponent to get in. So get in the habit of keeping your hands covering either the top or lower gates and stuff. I don't know if I talked about gates yet, but we'll talk about that more when we talk about some of the more defensive drills and stuff. But for right now, let's just say in the center of we want to keep that protected. So if one hand is striking, one should be protecting, whether up or down. If you're punching up, you want to protect low. If you do it the opposite way, right? So, but we'll talk about that. But I want to take this step by step, and I think footwork is crucial. Sifu always says 80% of the fighting outcome is dependent on your footwork. So you really got to get that down. And the thing is, another point is, remember, we try to stay on the balls of our feet, try to stay kind of light, because when you do start doing side steps, you can do them faster and have a little bit more flow. You can go different angles, you know, practice moving. You can combine it with the Wing Chun, the triangle step, although the triangle step is sort of incorporated into it, but you can also, you know, the idea is to just stay light on your feet and to be agile, because you want to be able to, again, for your own safety and survival, you got to get off the line and attack from a different angle. So I think that's quite a bit for today. I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions, you can always put those in the chat below. And I'm sure I'm probably watching this right now as you are watching this. Once I post it, I usually like to hang out in the chat. So if you have questions, I can ask them directly. Thank you for joining me. Remember to hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel for more. And last but not least, stay inspired and inspirational.